three families starting a new chapter together. These are our Papineau Homes. Welcome to our Papineau Homes. We are three families starting a new chapter together as we build new dwellings on 200 acres of land in Northern Ontario. We want to share that journey with you.
I'm Alan. We're driving to our new property that we bought with our little home in disrepair. Well, hopefully it's not in disrepair. We're going to go check it out. Hoping to move there on Sunday and bringing the kids to go see it. Excited to see what this new adventure will hold, and yeah. Well, I always liked the north and come from Timmins, so I always lived. We lived in Brampton area for a long time now, and we're definitely trying to see what the north can provide. Definitely with the family stuff. But yeah, I always like to go up north, and always wanted to build your own house and stuff, so that looks like quite the adventure. But I think with all that said, the best place is somewhere we can afford, and affordable land was all the way up here, so that's what we got. We bought 200 acres, so that's great. What do we want to do? Well, definitely create a place where the family can prosper, run around, have a play center in the back. We got lots of land to drive around. Bought a four-wheeler to have fun in the background and maybe learn a lot about the land and the trees that they have there, project with that. Really excited with that. I think we talked about maybe growing something that maybe our family can use, vegetables and fruit if we can do so in such climate. So that's going to be an adventure in its own, trying to get some greenhouses and do something like that.
My name is Bernice. Alan and I have just purchased the 200 acres in Papineau. We are planning on living in a small cottage-like home for the next year or so, to then build essentially our dream home, and then make room for my parents and my sister and her family to move up. As a young child, I grew up on my grandparents' farm-like property, which was a dream of his. And after an early retirement from the police force of his 25-year service, he bought a few barns and some land with it, and then converted those into a home for themselves, and later to holiday rental properties. The other inspiration is this COVID experience has left our family wanting for more, and not feeling like the suburban life is going to be a fulfilling future for us and the kids. And then finally, over the COVID period, I lost my young nephew to cancer, and that just inspires a no time like the present, because you have no idea what's in store, and to be living in the moment and enjoying every moment rather than waiting for something else to happen. As a parent, you always think, oh, well, when they get out of diapers it'll be easier, or when they get walking things will get easier, but it doesn't. There's just new challenges, and so rather than waiting for everything to be easy and perfectly aligned, we're just gonna wing it.
Okay, so I'm John. I am Wendy's husband, Emily and Bernice's dad. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story first. A few days ago, I just heard some bad news. My good childhood friend from 3 up to 15, John, just passed away. With that, kind of brought back a lot of memories of all the things that we got up to between 3 and 15. One of those things was we used to go and beg, borrow and steal money from wherever we could, let's say on a Sunday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, whatever it was. And we would go to the local train station. There would be me and maybe half a dozen others, including John, go to this ticket master, put all of our change on the sort of counter and say to him, how far can we get out of London? There was a desire to leave all the way back then. He used to give us a ticket, a one-way ticket, and sometimes it was as far as Dartford. And now you got 6 kids, maybe 7, sometimes more. We would get on that train and we'd get all the way to Dartford or wherever, and then we would walk home. That was like, you're looking at a long distance, like 20 miles or something like that. That's what it felt like anyway. We would go all the way out there and walk back, and we had some great adventures in what we considered the countryside, because back in 1968, Dartford really was countryside. There had Dartford lakes, there was fishing, and all kinds of things going on. So we just had a great time, little kids, having a casual walk all the way home. I tell you that story because I recognised there was a desire to get out of suburbia, London, back then. Didn't really like being so closed in. The horizon is houses. From 15, we lost touch with each other, but we had beers with each other whenever we were both back in the UK, because he lived in the States. And me being in Canada, we still didn't cross paths until we got back to UK in our local haunt, the Plough and Harrow. Then I joined the army at that point. I joined the Royal Engineers, lots of construction. I'd already been familiar with construction because from 11 years old, I was working with my uncle. My uncle had a building company, so I learned all the different trades. In learning all that stuff, it really just sat with me. When I joined the engineers, I felt really very much at home with construction and the demolition that happened there. Did all kinds of things. There's, engineers pretty famous for building roads, railways, fortresses, prisons, all kinds of stuff we built and blew up. Water supply, the engineers just do so much. They're all over the place, you big. Came out the army after nearly 10 years. I started up my own building company. It did okay. Still looking for more stuff. And so I joined the fire department. It's the London Fire Brigade in London, in England. A lot of construction in there as well. And like any good fireman, I had my second job, which was running my construction company. From there, coming to Canada, we wanted to do something different. This wide open country, we wanted to build our own place. When I landed in Toronto, 2 months ahead of Wendy and the girls, the Sun newspaper's official headline was Canada officially in recession. And so the job that I was going to walk into, the job that Wendy was going to walk into, vanished. So we changed our focus of attention from building our own place to basically survival. And we spent a lot of time trying to build up again because it's a costly adventure to change countries. It took a few years to do that, but it's 2021 and that was 1991 when we decided we wanted to be here to build our own place. That's a little bit delayed, but never mind. I've got 2 son-in-laws that are willing to help, so that's good. Well, actually I'm helping them because Alan and Bernice were mad enough to buy the property. Kevin and Emily are going to be moving onto the property once Bernice and Alan have actually built their the first house. Then they're going to move onto the property and build their house, and then Wendy and I are going to be following up the rear. and hopefully doing our bit after then. I think that little story from the beginning about wanting to get out of London kind of said it all. I really enjoyed when we lived out of suburbia. When I was in the military, when I was in the fire department, we didn't live in the city. It was so nice living out with the countryside and the attitude that we found refreshing out there.
So hi, I'm Wendy and I'm part of the Blue Kingship part of the project. I've always wanted to live back in a rural setting, which I did for a few years back in England. But because of jobs and school and children, it's always that I've had to live in suburbia. Even looking at my retirement, I wanted to be near my grandchildren, which again puts me towards living in suburbia. When we look at society, it tends to put some life goals or some milestones in front of us. It's the thing that if you do well at school, then you can go to university and you can get the perfect career. And when you get the perfect career, hopefully you'll find the perfect person to settle down with and get married, and you'll find the perfect house. Have, I don't know, 2 holidays a year and 2 cars and perhaps 2.5 children. It's like this is what's going to make us happy, whether that is really what we want in life or not. We try and pay down our mortgage and we try to save for retirement. Perhaps we help our parents in their old age. We save up for our children's education. And then finally we retire fulfilled with Freedom 55. Is that really what happens? Is that really what makes us happy? Is it really what we want to do, or is it just what everyone else does in society? That promise that everything will be good if you do all the right things really fell apart for us when our grandson was diagnosed with cancer. And worse than that, being told that there was nothing that the doctors could do for him. There was a part of me that was thinking, well, the worst case scenario would be that he would have a liver transplant. But to be told that that wasn't on the table, it was shocking. It makes you really re-look at life. What are we doing? And why are we doing it? Because ultimately I think I was just existing to pay bills so that I could retire. But I knew that I wouldn't want to retire where I was actually living. We all started dreaming, we started talking and really had a new perspective in life. I've heard it say that there's nothing to fear but fear itself. Well, when you've lost a grandchild, you start to understand that saying, because the worst things happened. So why am I trying to live safe? Like I said, that's when we all started dreaming and looking forward and wondering what is it that we really want in life. What I really want in life is to be near my children, to see my grandchildren on a daily basis, and to be living in a rural area where we're enjoying this world, which is a beautiful place, to have a wood or a forest even behind us, to be more in a natural state than what we have been. And so I really feel that this project is taking us to a place where we'll be living and not just existing.
Hey everyone, it's Kevin with Project Yellow Submarine. It's with me and Emily, and just taking a second to share my thoughts, I guess, on why we're doing this project. I guess for me, it has everything to do with the death of Toby, my son, back in January 2021. Ever since Toby died, it's it's made me kind of reflect and reevaluate everything that I thought was important to me. Me and Emily had a conversation, I don't know, shortly after Toby died, and we had agreed that we wanted to try to be closer to our nieces and our nephew, and we were gonna make an effort to do that. And within days of making that decision, we learned that a conversation had started with Bernice and Alan from Project Red Car, and with Wendy and John from Project Blue Kingship. They were already talking about, this idea of moving up, finding a plot of land somewhere and building a new dwelling on it. And initially, Emily and I thought, hey, cool, let us know where you guys land and we'll find a place near you, sort of thing. And then that conversation evolved into where we're at now, where we all decided, let's all pitch in and let's all build dwellings on a plot of land somewhere. And we ultimately did find a place in Northern Ontario, and it's difficult to leave Brampton, where we're living now. But the more time I spend in Northern Ontario, and in particular the land that we've purchased, the more I fall in love with it. We've got some cool ideas, I think, for things that we're going to try when we build this dwelling. And maybe it'll end up being our forever home, like John and Wendy are hoping for with theirs. Who knows? That is the hope, I think. But I think if nothing else, it'll give us, me and Emily, time for whatever we need, for whatever comes next. And I think more than anything, it feels like that's what we need right now. It's tragic, the reasons behind it, I guess, but I guess it just feels like the right steps to take moving forward, whatever that looks like without Toby. Please press the like button if you think we've earned it. Subscribe to the channel for updates as we continue our journey.